room, and then suddenly the light come on.
Then there's a crane camera. It's like, dun, 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 dun. Hey, let's talk about the importance of good customer service, especially in our automotive industry. We Malaysians complain a lot, right? I'm sure you do as well. Now, in the motoring industry context, we hear too many complaints about bad customer service from car manufacturers, from local car makers all the way up to global giants here in Malaysia. It is bad for the brand, especially with social media now. Nowadays, people can just complain and rant on social media and just go viral and stuff like that. And I'm sure Chips and Hans have a lot to say about this.
You've seen a lot of rants on Facebook and all. And what I think is very counterproductive is that course of action, what many people do is straight away rant on Facebook. But Facebook makes it very impossible. The whole format and structure of Facebook, it's impossible for someone for a person at the other end of the line to keep track of. A lot of the grouses that people put up on when someone makes themselves public to make a complaint, they have very legitimate reasons to do so. But there's also a large number of them that, if you look at what they are complaining, I really if I'm the CRM person, I don't even know how to help this guy. I mean, there is just so much anger, so much emotion in it that actually, what is your problem here? I know you are talking bits and pieces everywhere, but your complaints are just all over the place. If you have a problem, my advice is, go through the proper channel first, and when you write your complaint email, remove your emotions out of it. Make it very short, make it to the point. Give your vehicle registration number, including your VIN number, have a chronology of events, what happened, on which date, in a chronological manner. And be very specific on what is your problem. And lastly, what is the resolution that you are expecting? So keep it very simple, to the point, no emotions involved.
And also, I might add,
Yeah.
if you can put names of people that you have
Dealt with.
communicated with, because that's also important, because sometimes some communications don't appear in the system.
Yeah.
So a company would want to know why. That's also important. So whenever you
That's a good tip.
make a complaint, always make sure you get the person's name as well.
Yeah.
Because there's no point going to tell the company, that guy promised me this. And then you say, who? I don't know.
The guy with glasses and a mustache and a bit of white hair.
So the guy at the other end of the email, internet or phone, the CRM person, I mean, he's also a human. So, and if you're having a problem, he is the next best person that will be able to solve your problem. So help him to do his job, help him to make things clear to the decision makers, to his bosses, and you will get your problem solved faster. It's quite simple. I mean, there is a problem, but you have to remember that the guy at the service center, he's not the one who caused the problem. I mean, assuming that you have a problem with your car. But look, he didn't build your car. He is not the one who, his job is to try to solve your problem. So help him to do his job.
The main question here is that car manufacturers are not taking customer service quite seriously in that sense. That causes people to yes, I understand. That causes people to actually go on to other channels to rant, to complain, and gather support from their friends and all that. Social media. So yes, I'm sure Chips disagree that car makers are not doing anything about it, but it is happening. Dealers are sort of not handling certain situations well enough. Recently, there is this Audi issue, the A6 hybrid issue, that we all know about on social media. Yeah, things like this that's happening.
Just to recap that issue in case for the benefit of viewers who are not sure about it. So there was this owner who was complaining that his Audi required towing. In the process of towing up a flatbed truck, the car was not secured properly and it slid down the truck and it hit the house pillar or gate or something.
The house wall, fence wall, and also some water piping as well.
Yeah, so it damaged the house and clearly the car is damaged.
Yeah, quite a bad damage actually.
Yeah, and he was upset that it's after 2 months and there's no resolution, and Audi Malaysia is Audi Malaysia is in the middle, and there's a lot of ding dong between the dealer and the tow truck company, and the owner is stuck in the middle. Nobody wants to take responsibility for it.
Apparently, the dealer, is that the dealer or Audi Malaysia promised to fix the car for this owner, but it has taken such a long time that they didn't get back to him about the situation and all that, or when he's going to get the car.
I think it's understandable. All the owner wants is he wants his car back.
Yeah.
Yes, as
And
simple as
it's
that.
been 2 months, and from what I read, he's just frustrated. And what it tells me is this is a management issue, managing the problem. And as you said just now, a lot of people of your generation will go straight to Facebook
Yeah.
and put their complaint rather than going through the proper channels. I think maybe this owner feels he has gone through the proper channels.
He did. I think he did mention.
He has written in, he has called, and he has done everything that he would be expected to do, and he's still not satisfied. What I believe is that in many cases, it's how a company manages problems when they surface and how committed they are to resolving it for their customers. I've come across many different instances because 17 years ago, I think it was the beginning of social media. We didn't have Facebook then, but we had forums.
Yeah.
And you remember
That was the
Forum?
Auto Forum, the Motor
I
Trader
was doing
Forum.
that.
Yeah.
That was in 1999. And after I did a Motor Trader Forum. So that was the beginning when people could put online their complaints, their frustrations, and basically the whole world could read about it. It was something that changed the industry because last time, before that, the most famous complaint area was to go to the Malay Mail. The Malay Mail had a hotline page, and people who had complaints would just write into the Malay Mail,
I didn't know that.
and it would appear in the newspaper, and the Malay Mail people would contact the company. It wasn't just for cars, it was for other
So that's the
Consumer
Facebook
browsers.
of his time.
Yeah.
it was not so much Facebook, but people put there, and then Malay Mail would put the answer, the company's response. And that provided companies with some time to get to the bottom of the case. Because that's important, they also need to know the facts. They cannot answer. And then Malay Mail would put in the answer and all, and try to be like a middleman to help to resolve it. But that was very limited. Today, you find that with Facebook, somebody who is unhappy this afternoon can post his complaint this afternoon. And it happens so fast that it gets out of control, even before the company. Sometimes the company may not even realize it until somebody tells them like, hey, this fellow is complaining about your car, right? But to me, as I used to tell the car companies when I had all these complaints in our forums, if a customer has to come to a third party like our forum and put his complaint, it means that all your customer care processes have failed, because almost every company has a certain procedure. Like they tell me, first the customer should go to the service advisor to complain. And if you feel the service advisor is not doing his job properly, you go to his manager. And you keep escalating. And yes, you can even go right up to the factory, the manufacturer in Japan or in Germany. You can even write them a letter. A lot of customers have done that before. But they get angry when the factory, the car company people in Japan or Germany write back and say, yes, we apologize, but please contact our local distributor to handle your case.
And they feel that they've been pushed around.
They get very angry, but you have to understand, the guy is in Japan, he has no idea about this particular case. Yes, a customer is angry because there's a problem with his with his product. But he really has no idea whether the customer is at fault or his distributor is at fault. So obviously he cannot help. The best person is a distributor. So in all this, it's still a case of how a company manages a complaint. If they do it badly, then they deserve to have it spread in public and damage their...
Correct. We see quite a lot, which is on social media and all that. And frankly, we don't know what's the actual story, right? We only hear from one side, which is the car owner.
Yeah.
And we would like to believe that they have gone through the correct channels and all that. And this is like the last resort where they rant and then they complain on social media, hoping to garner support and all that.
When these companies like BMW and Volvo and all the other big companies started to set up their own sales company in Malaysia, a lot of customers were happy, like Audi customers and BMW. They were very happy because they felt that the manufacturer themselves are coming to Malaysia to be directly involved in sales and marketing and after sales. That means the brand owner is here to look after them.
Yep.
Whereas before, they had to deal with dealers, who is like a third party. Now they felt that these manufacturers themselves are here. They expected the quality of service, the quality of customer care to go up because these are brand owners. They look after their brand. But what I've noticed happening is that these sales companies like Audi Malaysia or BMW Malaysia, they have a division like after sales division or customer care division, which receives complaints but does not really become directly involved in the case. They still go and tell the customer, go back to our dealer because the dealer is the one who's responsible for looking after you. We can only advise our dealer, we can persuade him, if he doesn't have parts, we can help him to get the parts. But the company itself does not get involved, and I think customers get very disappointed with such an attitude.
What's the correct way then? Does the principal do they need to actually step in and
Yes.
and resolve it?
I think in extreme cases, like this Audi case, the company should actually be the one coordinating and managing it and telling the dealer, fix it, and be the one to look after the customer because the dealer is obviously not doing the right job. And this is the sort of thing, not only this owner may never buy, I think he said he will never buy another Audi again. You read the messages, you find other people saying, I'm not going to buy an Audi if this is the treatment. You, as a company, you don't want people saying that. That discourages new customers from coming. So I feel that they should have more direct involvement in such cases.
But the problem always happened and got stuck at the dealer level, right? And I'm sure principals, they have ways to give them to give them authority to make certain decisions, like replacing the entire car, let's say.
We see a brand as when someone is complaining about a brand, say Audi or BMW or whatever, we see every facility, whether it's the dealer network or the distributor, consumers think, and rightfully as a consumer, they see it as just one organization. But as anyone who has worked in a large organization before, things are not that simple. There's a lot of bureaucracy, and sometimes it's very difficult for things to move along there. I notice that companies that have very good track record of customer care, there's one common thing in them. They empower the frontliners to make certain decisions because that speeds up the process. So the frontliners have a very clear idea of how much it costs to fix this problem, and am I empowered to make a decision on the spot. My own car, a Toyota. So when I went for there was one time I went for my regular inspection, my regular maintenance. So a battery health check was done. But 2 weeks later, I had a flat battery, and it was raining, it was at night, and it was really leceh. I had to tow the car and leave the car overnight, and it was at night, and I had to find my own way back later. I understand cars enough to tell that, okay, battery health check doesn't necessarily tell you, and it is not 100%. Things can go wrong, but I understand that. A regular customer might not. But what impressed me is that when I went to see back my car the next day, and the service advisor saw my problem, on the spot he can tell me, yeah, actually, this is not so good, so we'll give you a 50% discount. And he can decide on the spot. So that is empowerment to me, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
To a certain level of let's say cost or value that they can actually make a decision on.
Yes.
Right?
I think that's very important. That point, I had the same experience with you, and also at a Toyota service center long ago, where my particular engine needed 4.5 liters of engine oil. But because they are not used to it, they put in 4 liters, which is actually a standard amount for most Toyota engines. And I knew it. I mean, when I checked the bill, they put there 4 liters, and I said, I need 4.5, and we checked, and actually they put in only 4 liters. So I complained, and actually I was very angry because that half a liter could cause some problems in the engine. So I complained, and the service advisor admitted he made a mistake. And that was an expensive oil, by the way, synthetic oil. And then they quickly poured in the half liter, And I was still very angry because of such a silly mistake. But the service advisor straight away, he added a half liter. And then I said, okay, how much more I have to pay? He said, no, our mistake. You don't have to pay. Straight away, I cooled down and I thought, okay, human mistake. And I was telling him, okay, don't worry, human make mistake. Next time, don't make mistake. But you see, that empowerment, the service advisor could just write off that cost as, to pacify me. It's so important because then I don't even want, if I go out and tell my friends, they didn't put the right amount of oil, I would say, yeah, but they gave me the free oil after that, That makes such a difference, and it's, again, empowerment.
Yeah, but the samples that you guys shared, right, the experience that you guys shared there, the value might not be a lot.
Yeah.
It might not be a lot, but those that we see online, right, is really quite a big, huge damage, and I guess they can't make that kind of decision in their level.
No, but I agree with Hans that the owners may not have needed to go to social media and go public so soon.
I think, there are cases where some things you read, some rants you read online, it's just rubbish. But a lot of it are also, the grouses are genuine. Most people would not want to put themselves up in public because it's embarrassing for yourself as well. I mean, look, the whole world is looking at you ranting about it, and it's not good for your image as well.
Sometimes friends will say, you're so stupid, you can buy that car,
So, when a lot of cases, when an owner does that, they really have exhausted all avenues. And to make matters worse, we don't have a very strong consumer tribunal here. So, what other options does an owner have? They can escalate to the legal system, but the legal system is not.
Yeah, so let's dig into the whole cause here is usually because of dealer network issue or workshop issue, right? Just 3 years ago, Volkswagen they faced this really huge problem and people protesting in front of their office and all that. Because they've grown so fast, they focus so much on sales, and they sort of, dealers network and workshops are sort of neglected, maybe. But recently, we haven't heard a lot of complaints about Volkswagen cars.
They have improved
things along the way.
Yeah.
Okay, and recently JD Power carried out a customer service index. All right, the results are actually quite surprising. Toyota is number 1.
CSI,
CSI, yes, customer service index CSI. Toyota is number 1. The number 1 car maker, non-national car maker in Malaysia, which is Honda, is actually last in the list. Why is that?
That's surprising to me.
Out of 10 brands, Honda is last.
Most of us already know Honda has had a record-breaking past 2 years.
Yeah.
You're talking about a brand who only sells passenger cars. They don't have a single commercial vehicle. They don't have an equivalent to a high Ace. They don't have an equivalent to a high Toyota Hilux. Until recently, they didn't have an equivalent to a Toyota Avanza or Innova in the past. And despite all that, they overtook Toyota by a wide margin. They are growing very, very fast. But every time a brand grows fast, after sales, service, customer satisfaction will always take a hit. That's inevitable. It's how you contain it. So you mentioned Toyota is number 1 now. But if you remember, I think some of the viewers will probably remember this. If you trace back 10 years ago,
12 years
ago, when Toyota suddenly had a massive growth, when the Avanza first came out, the Toyota Avanza, they had a lot of, I think you probably remember that as well, there were a lot of complaints on that time. They were still using forums and all that.
People were complaining it would take 1 month to make an appointment for service.
Yeah, so when you decide to buy a brand that is experiencing an exponential growth within a very short period of time, the after-sales service infrastructure will always take a
lags.
Yeah, but what is more important is that how these brands are containing the problem. Honda, for example, it's not that they're not doing anything. They are ramping up their dealer network faster than ever before, but these things can't happen overnight. So within the foreseeable, the near term, probably the next 1 to 2 years, they will still face a lot of growing pains, as Toyota did. And it will take a couple of years before the network stabilizes, before they implement process and measures to cope with the volume that they are dealing right now. You mentioned about Volkswagen earlier. So clearly what was missing was the after sales part. Of course, it's easier said than done. People, the regular customers will see it as, oh, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? But now, as an armchair observer, it's very easy to say this. But when you are a regional boss, you look after 5-7 countries, and you have the board of management in Germany halfway around the world barking down at you to setting very unrealistic goals, things snowball very, very quickly. So brands like this that are given very unrealistic targets, you end up signing up dealers very quickly without ensuring that these dealers have the sufficient financial capacity to cope with this growth. The successful brands, like we talked about Honda and Toyota just now, the dealers that are representing them are very well, they are very strong. They have very strong financial background. They are strong enough to make sure that, okay, if the principal is very slow in getting back to me to handle this warranty claim case, the dealers can, on their own accord, solve this problem is not going to cost me a lot of money. I don't want to lose this customer. I will pay for this first, and I'll claim it from the company later. They can do that. They have the financial capacity to do that. But when you sign on a very weak dealer, and this can be a problem. And if there's no supporting infrastructure in the background, the logistics, the warehousing, and all to deliver the necessary parts to them fast enough, then this is a problem.
Yeah. So that was what Volkswagen was facing, right, at that time. And in the list, as we can see, the latest study, they are 5th in the list. Yeah. So I guess they are slowly improving along.
I think Hans is right. Most of the time for a lot of companies, it's chasing sales.
Yeah.
The focus is on sales because maybe that's where the big money is. And after sales follows behind. So for some companies, they focus so much on sales, they forget that, hey, you need to also give attention to after sales service network. As your number of owners grows, you need to make sure that you have more workshops, more service centers. Look after it. You cannot forever, with 30 workshops, service double the number of new customers.
Correct.
We see that happening with the global brands. But sometimes, like Han said, some brands where the priority is sales, maybe they just do not allocate enough attention to the sales network.
So I guess, and also add one more thing, why some brands end up that way. It's human nature as well. So when you are the top management being given that task, and a lot of these cases, these are expats and they are here on contract. So you couple of years contract. So this is a problem with, it's a bit of management culture already. This is a problem with KPIs. Then, because let's say if I am the managing director or if I am the regional head, I know that I'll be in this country for 2 to 3 years and I need to deliver this target by the end of my tenure. And if I succeed, I'll be rewarded with Y number of bonus. So what happens 5 years later is not my problem. And that is the problem with all this. When you parachute in expats or and there's no strong local management to ensure the continuity of the brand, and that is another factor as well. It's a reflection of the KPI-driven culture. What happens 5 years down the road? That's the other guy's problem. I deliver what I need to deliver. I make my boss happy. I finish my tenure. I move on to my next role in another country.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know all this behind the story behind it and all that. Especially because car buyers, right? Car buyers, they only know, if I buy a car from you, you get it fixed for me on time. I expect that kind of service because it's your product, right? So there are certain things that it can't be controlled. They probably need time as well, like Volkswagen or Honda, when they're growing so fast, they need to really strengthen their network of dealers and workshop and service and all that.
I also would like to add, bring up 2 brands which I have very huge respect for in regarding this topic. One is Mazda. Dato' Ben Yong, the boss of Mazda, he understands this problem because he himself started from the workshop level. So he worked his way up from the ropes, from the workshop floor. And he understands the problem with the huge gap in the quality of education given by our vocational technical schools versus our modern day cars. I mean, you can sit behind and complain about why our education system is so bad and all that, but he didn't. So Ben Yeo went the next step and established their own training academy. So they attract school leavers. They guarantee at the end of their education, there's a guaranteed job placement, and even I think if I'm not mistaken, during their education they are given allowance or something. So then you are as you are building your brand, you are also building the next generation of technicians who will support the growth of your brand over the next 5-10 years. Now this is what I meant. This ties back to what I mentioned just now about the long term, that you need to have a strong local management that will look after the long term care of the brand. So the Japanese are here in the form of Mazda Malaysia, but Burmas as a local partner is taking very strong initiative. Mercedes-Benz Malaysia is another example. They have a training academy, I think it's in Glenmarie. It's a very similar thing. You can go to the website and check and see. They don't publish it very much, but the last time I went on the website, the allowance that they give to the students is quite okay. I mean, you don't spend, if you're not the academic type and you prefer to work with your hands, and you spend 2-3 years in their training academy, and by the time at the end of it, your friends who went to university will still be studying, and you are already working with guaranteed job placement for the next few years, and there's a clear path of progression for you. Yeah, more brands probably need to.
We need industry players like that. I mean, brands who are active enough to actually grow their brand, and at the same time the ecosystem, the whole automotive industry. I mean, they train up all these young people up, and so they will be moving around the industry as well, right? So that's good for the industry. So I guess as buyers, you guys viewers also must, I don't know, understand the situation a bit more. Go through the correct channel to complain on your issues and all that. And it's not that the car makers are trying to give you trouble and all that, but also at the same time we hope the industry players are also watching this. Look into the issues that you guys have. Don't wait until people complain on social media, and then that's when you all start to panic, and then you have a PR disaster, and you just start to fix things from there on.